Coming up on Look Today, Governor Cuomo's office gave a budget update at the Queensberry Hotel in Glens Falls. I've got details. And Hudson Falls School District hosted discussion on heroin addiction. More on that coming up. And the Saratoga Springs Lion Club announced Honor a Veteran program today at the Military Museum. I've got those details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson, and this is Look Today. Well, in tonight's program, I sit down with Lois Celeste. She's the Executive Director of the Saratoga Senior Center in this final segment of Look at Seniors. And I also sit down with Zach Moore and Tyler Herrick. They're here to discuss the new local ownership of the Queensberry Hotel in Glens Falls. Plus, we have your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, following up on an update on recent new state legislation, Governor Cuomo's office was at the Queensberry Hotel in Glens Falls today to give a budget update. Now, the total amount of state operating funds is $96.2 billion, along with a $1 billion tax cut for the middle class and a gradual increase in the minimum wage over the next few years. Now, the budget will also include the longest paid family leave in the nation. The budget will also provide $24.8 billion in school aid. Now, according to Governor Cuomo, much of this year's budget is to address the growing inequality and to support working families. In other news, the Hudson Falls Central School District partnered with the Council for Prevention to host a discussion today on heroin opioid addiction. The panel of experts and individuals with real-life experiences spoke to high school students in the auditorium. Some of the topics that were addressed included alcohol and prescription drug dependence and pathways that lead to heroin use. Now, the assembly was moderated by DA Tony Jordan. We spoke with him about empowering young teenagers to make the right decisions.
When you hear three powerful speakers share their personal stories, both two young people in long-term recovery, and then the sister of someone who lost the struggle, I think that's what we find, as young people, they don't want to be told what to do, what not to do, and we want to empower them to make good choices.
Now, a lot of emphasis was put on the ways to address the issue at the local level within the community. We spoke to Washington County Sheriff Jeff Murphy about spreading awareness of the epidemic.
Anything else, it's getting the word out. It's getting the word out, especially, like I said, to one of the most vulnerable entities that we deal with, adolescents, high school age kids. Unfortunately, we see a lot of problems with opiates and heroin, including teenagers. So, like I said when I started, that this is probably one of the most important groups that we can talk to.
Great. Switching from news to weather. Catch this morning's low temperature of 7 degrees broke the record for this day. On April 5th, 1982, the record had been set at 12 degrees. Now, in northern parts of the region, check this out, temperatures fell to 2 degrees. It's expected to be a cold night again with temperatures in the teens. For a more detailed look at your weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. And back to the news. Well, the Saratoga Springs Lions Club announced Honor a Veteran program today at a press conference at the Military Museum. The program celebrates the country's military veterans, as well as raising awareness for veterans who are struggling to adjust to life after military service. Now, this is an initiative to provide financial assistance for Saratoga War Horse, a nonprofit organization that helps transitioning veterans. We spoke to Kathy Pellin. She's the president of Saratoga War Horse about the event.
The mission of Saratoga War Horse is to help military veterans reunite with their communities and their families and their lives after they've served our country so honorably.
Now, other presenters at the press conference included Matt Jones. He's the president of the Saratoga Springs Lions Club, and Bill Gabault. He's the co-chair, and we spoke to him about this.
The Saratoga Springs Lions Club has put together a program to do that. And that's what we'll be talking about today. The goal of the program is to create the America's best experience for our veterans.
Now, Michelle Madigan, who's a commissioner of finance in Saratoga, was at the event as well. Now, we will interview her in the studio next week, so keep a lookout for that. Up next, I sit down with Lois Celeste. She's the executive director of the Saratoga Senior Center in the final segment of A Look at Seniors. Plus, I also sit down with Zach Moore and Tyler Herrick. They're here to discuss the new local ownership of the Queensbury Hotel in Glens Falls. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000.